pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a moment of silent prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, it's Tuesday evening, May 7th, 2024. We're in the town of Bath Municipal Center. Can I have the roll call, please?
Scott Murphy.
Here.
Susan Webster's here. Elizabeth Skinner. Here. Mary Lynn Hickey. Here. Rebecca McLeod. Here. Greg Sheen.
Here.
And Tom Hall.
Okay. Can we have a review of the council minutes of April 16th of this year? I will take a common consent. Also, we'll do any additions or corrections that we may need to do. Everything look good to everybody? Okay, common consent. All right. Okay, we have a few people before council this evening. We have Melissa with the community garden. So you have the floor.
Such a nice floor it is too. So good evening, I'm Melissa Schott. I'm with the Town of Bath Community Co-op Garden, and we are growing. So in addition to Donna Coates and I, we've got a core group of probably about 7 to 10 members. We've generally been meeting bi-monthly, so it's the second and fourth Tuesdays. We've changed it to now 2 o'clock. We'll gather in the garden. We'll talk about what we're going to be doing, work on some common projects. Otherwise, if they've been in the garden, they know kind of sort of where we're heading. You can come in and work at your leisure. One of us doesn't have to be there after you've become familiarized with it. Our major task right now, we've been redesigning the garden. We've moved some different beds around. We've taken some things down. We've also gone ahead and done a lot of weeding, and that's obviously going to be a continuous chore. Upcoming, we've got more beds going in. We've got some planting done with the peas, the lettuce, some other little things here and there. With the warmer weather, we're going to be getting in the tomatoes that you all want. Any variety preference?
Tomatoes is tomatoes.
You hear the start of tomatoes is tomatoes. We've got a couple people who have asked, can we donate plants to the community garden? And as soon as we're ready to have them go in with the warmer weather, we are off and running with that. We've got a small, tiny little fairy garden that's been placed. We're going to be doing a larger children's area. We've got planned since we've been here last. What else do we have? We have, hey, it's there. It's fine. We've had a lot of donations come in. We've had some hardscaping come in, curved concrete edgers that you guys have all seen around some of the trees to give them some protection from the mowing, putting them around the sage to protect that as well. We've had some bricks donated, a lot of garden decor, especially for the children's area when that's going to be coming up. We've got some concrete buckets, for lack of a better term, with posts in it, so we can do a movable fence for a children's area, so we can kind of sort of keep them and their digging and their fun corralled in one area. We're going to give them a chance to be growing some stuff vertically as well. Like I said, we've just basically been waiting for it to warm up. We've got our compost area that's been started. Anybody who wants to talk to us about bringing stuff in for compost, yay. Wood chips, we are more than welcoming those. We need a lot of those so we can keep some weeds down. Once we start digging in the ground, we want to get the ground covered so we've got the weeds barricaded from growing up, some at least, to keep some moisture retention. The one thing that we have run into, we had an issue with the steps out front. And we're not sure how council wants to handle that. If you guys want us to handle it, if you guys want to talk amongst yourselves. I took some pictures coming in if you guys aren't too familiar with it. So we've got some metal railing in concrete stairs, which is great. The other thing that we have at the bottom of the stairs is what looks to be an old timber, old railroad tie one of those things, and we're starting to see some degradation on the, as you're looking at the garden, on the bottom right corner of that, it's starting to break apart. And we're wondering, we're hoping it's not going to become a safety issue, a trip hazard, but we're wondering how you would like us to take care of it, if council wants to talk, to see if you guys have any suggestions or ideas on how you guys might think that would be best to be handled, or how that wants to be taken care of.
Yeah, we can have Public Works take a look at it.
that would be
and
great.
See what they think.
Okay.
If we have any
So we'll
materials
from the-
that we could,
It's left there from the house that's there.
Yeah,
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 Yeah.
it's been there for a while, and
It's
it's
been there for
the
a while.
last thing we need is someone coming in from the public, tripping, falling, you're getting their foot caught in there, or God forbid, the wood actually breaking while they're stepping on it going up.
we'll take a look at it.
Okay, we'd appreciate it, otherwise I can send pictures around. We've got the plant fair coming up, and we're gonna tap into that to see. I forgot to talk to you about that. We talked about it at some point, but taking a letter around, seeing if there's anyone there that wants to donate plants for the community garden. Same as with the farmer's market, although we're kind of sort of lacking on a lot of vendors that actually have plants that they're growing, but maybe they've got something in their own personal stock that they would like to donate as well for that. We're still looking at doing the hardscape with some of the yellow brick. We need to contact US Silica still to see if we can get a sand donation, so we can actually get the brick some footing, so it's not just laying there on the ground sinking in. Anything else that you can think of off the top of your head, Donna?
You do have the plum tree, we're
Yes.
still trying
Yeah.
to find someone to haul it.
Yeah. We're still working on getting rid of some of the brush from the plum tree. I need to speak with council about reimbursement. We've got a small storage shed that we've purchased for tools, secondhand through Marketplace, that we're getting ready to, set in there, and so we can work out with that. Yes,
Have you drawn any money off of that?
we've not touched it yet at all.
Okay.
We're still at the same balance that it's had.
Yeah, once you get the receipt, whatever you need, just pass that along to finance.
Okay.
We haven't drawn against that account yet.
The building, the storage building.
It's one of those Suncast resin portable. Yeah, it pops into pieces,
Okay, all right.
and it's 3x5 by 4,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
like a box.
it's a box,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. It's got a locking capability. We're going to be putting a combination lock on, and giving that to the core members that are going to be working in the garden, so we can have some access to tools.
You could, invoice to Sharon, and she'll put her on the next
Okay.
list, because you do have funds,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
All right.
We're trying to avoid using them, we've been taking as many donations.
Yes,
as
we like
possible.
donations. I've been running all over the county.
Thank you for that effort too.
I understand that, we do.
we all like donations.
Yes.
That's good.
So, does council have any other questions for Donna or I?
Great job.
Moving right along.
Keep up the good work.
Yep.
Sounds
Keep
great.
good work up. Move right along.
Thanks for the report. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay, next person before council, we have Gail Porter, or Bonner.
Scott, she will not be here tonight.
Okay,
I am actually submitting a grant on behalf of Gail with the DAR for the Old English Cemetery, along with on behalf of Foxglove for the German Cemetery. And I was unable to reach her for about a month. Her computer, some issues, what have you. Connected with her today, told her that they could come tonight, but they didn't need to. They didn't realize I was already on this grant and ready to submit it by the deadline of May 17th. So all that information that is in our packets is about the Remembrance Grant that I am going to be submitting an application for. And it will cover those two cemeteries, which are both owned by the town of Bath, which is why we need to be the submitting party for that grant.
Another thing is they have had some expenses in the cleanup that they've done. And what we talked about in finance is having Sharon do get a budget revision ready for us, because we do think that if the budget revision, if we had just $1,000, which is what we plan on giving them, then we could pay down their expenses that they have coming in
Right.
and take care of that. So we're gonna ask Sharon to prepare that for the next meeting.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Good, good,
You
good,
have
good.
that?
All right, moving right along. I know he's not on the schedule. I see Scott sitting back there, and I don't know if he has anything else to do this evening. I don't know if he wanted to address council. I know he's not, we can't make any decisions or anything, but would council be okay with him speaking to us?
All right, it's a busy man.
I really want, I'm looking for approval. We're doing the picnic in the park again this year. So I'm looking for approval to utilize the parking spaces around the park. Right now, we have 3 food trucks. I don't think it's getting any more. And again, we just removed the, free parking bags after they're in and out. So that's what I'm looking for. This year we have, should be great. We have the flashback coming in. So I think that's going to draw a crowd of people. It's all free. Free fake pizza for families to come in. So that's what we're looking for. So
All right, when you having that?
June 22nd.
June 22nd, okay. Let's make sure that gets on the next meeting. I remember seeing it come through because I read what Sharon had sent us that you had given her.
But
We've got it.
we do have, under public safety, applications for use of town
Yeah,
property.
we
Yeah.
could probably
We did
do it
talk about
there.
We did talk about it in finance a little bit, and we do want to help you out with this. You think it's gonna be 3?
3 food trucks. It's going to be, we have, almost, having concessions, Bob's Big B, and then, B Shaw with a little van. So, I think it would take up, I think almost have 2 parking spaces, B takes up 1, and Bob's in 1 space too, but I think it'll take 2, to tell you the truth, I think it'll take 2. So we'll go probably 5 spaces total. And then the rest, will be open, we look through parker too, because we want to come to the event.
Right. Right, and we did talk about that. We did want to ask you to make sure that your, any vendors that you have their business license.
Yes, that we do. We make sure they have all their license and tax license and license they need, sound too.
And also the location of the trucks. Were you thinking of a particular place? Because we were kind of, wondering about that.
I wasn't. I was,
Did we not?
Washington.
One of them on Washington Street facing the park.
So that Fairfax is open for,
Fairfax is squeezes
say them
off.
on Washington Street.
Yeah, is that possible?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can do it. Yeah.
All right, well, we can wait till we get down to public safety, or we can, I know the application's been in because it came
Yep.
back
Yeah.
to
we
us,
have
so,
it, but we have.
so if you guys.
He's busy.
I'm okay. I'm good. Keep going. I'm free.
You want to go ahead if somebody wants to make a motion, and we can probably do it that way.
Or
Or wait
it's
till we
under
get to
public
public
safety,
safety.
because we have like 5 different
Yeah.
applications
We can wait. We can
for
wait.
use.
Okay,
Okay.
all right,
Alrighty.
all right, well then we'll move along then. Communications from mayor, there was an email that come across the desk about the 522 bypass. Supposedly, the state is going to ask all trucks to stay on 522 and come through town instead of getting on the bypass. The problem I have with that is they'll still be able to get on the bypass, or there'll be no way to stop them.
I didn't think it was an ask situation.
I thought it was a requirement.
Yeah.
So,
they're
There
gonna
needs to-
slip through.
what?
They'll slip through.
They'll slip through, I can tell you. They'll try to, if they can make any faster time, they'll make
Well,
faster
that
time.
ain't gonna be faster.
So,
They're gonna get stuck.
they're gonna put cars, from what I understand, they're gonna put cars on the bypass. Which won't be too bad. They'll be coming down, of course, 9 and, Fairfax Street. But I think we need to implore the state to make sure they have proper signage, to make sure that the trucks do stay on the route through town until the full bypass is finished. Because we're gonna have a real mess if they decide they're gonna come down 9 and Fairfax Street.
That's all the way.
What?
We'll have them back from Route 9 to
Yes.
Fox 22.
You know,
All the
so,
way back to the exit at the bypass.
I
And
think
that's
full
assuming they
mornings.
don't get stuck
Right.
somewhere along one of those twists and turns. It's not
Absolutely.
really very truck friendly.
absolutely. So I don't get a warm and fuzzy feeling that the state is not gonna put trucks on that route. I mean, I just don't get that feeling, unfortunately. I don't know if we need to write them a letter and request that we see what kind of signage they're gonna put up out there to keep these trucks coming the regular route until the rest of it's done.
I'll tell you, when this came up the last meeting, I wrote to all of our representatives, just me, because I'm concerned they didn't write town letterhead or anything. And the governor's office, and I wrote to all of them, and then this came down, so I think they're open to our concerns.
Right.
I think writing a letter asking to see the signage, where's the signage gonna be,
What does the enforcement look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, my main concern is I don't want to wait till the day they decide to open it up, and then all of a sudden we got a total nightmare going on. You know, we have trucks here, we have trucks there, we have trucks coming straight through town.
Maybe Rebecca could do a letter for public safety and send it for your signature.
Public safety.
I'm not gonna say.
Or what am I saying?
It was also suggested to me that we might write to the West Virginia Truckers Association and flag for them that this is a not very safe situation.
Tell you who's on that, all the truckers and all, would be the Chamber of Commerce, because of apple butter, because they send out, to my understanding, and I suppose they still do it, to all truck stops, all,
Find another route.
businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going on right now.
Mhm.
So, if you want to get stuck in traffic, when the parade is and things like that, a lot of people. So they may be some help. And, who all do you contact every September to get the word out of the dates of the Apple Butter Festival and when?
Right.
I don't think we should take anything for granted. I think we
Yeah.
should just keep pressing it. I mean, the next step makes sense to have a letter saying, please tell us what the signage is gonna be in the exact policy. And the chamber, certainly can help us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, they need to be open with us, and let us know exactly what kind of signage they're gonna put up and how they're going to deter the trucks from getting on the bypass. Because this is a real concern for our people in this community. A lot of people now, this time of year are walking, and if you got them coming down 2 separate areas instead of straight through town, I mean, I don't like them coming through town, but, the thing about it is until the rest of the bypass is done, I mean,
Well, I would think that any trucker would be on our side, because they don't want to get stuck. They don't want to.
Take out another pole.
They don't
Right.
want insurance, or they don't want to get a ticket, for driving left the center, and how can they not, Fairfax. So I would think they would be in agreement.
receptive to our, okay.
I don't know why they would.
Right.
Well, like I said, let's get a letter to the
Right.
state and requesting, we would like to know what signage they're gonna use and how they're gonna deter these trucks from coming down 9 and coming down off Fairfax Street past Mary's house.
Excuse me.
I don't have to worry about it.
But also, I do think a two-pronged approach of also approaching it from the other side and having the West Virginia Truckers Association inform their truckers that come through here, another letter from the town to them to say, this is a significant safety issue. I know it looks tempting, but you might want to hold off.
Right,
And you're not
Yeah.
supposed to, according to what we understand.
yeah, I mean, it can't hurt.
Yeah.
So,
They're not gonna-
Yeah, I don't think we should just assume because they said that all is going to be
Yeah,
well. I think we
that's-
just need
that's
to be
what
very
I was-
proactive.
all right, well, let's do that. We'll get those out and go from there. Chief, you have anything?
Is everyone aware that the proposed plan for the entrance and exit of this bypass, just past Sheets, is going to be a roundabout?
Yeah. We're there for about 5
And
years.
the other thing about my thought on West Virginia Truckers Association, most of these trucks not here in West Virginia.
Oh, so that's not very helpful.
I mean, it could be, but if he's here local folks, but
Yeah,
not for the long
Good
haul.
for everybody.
yeah.
Somehow the chamber gets word out.
To just don't come this way,
is what-
those
yeah,
days.
It's not gonna be pleasant.
Yeah.
They put up a flashing sign now, parade 9 to whatever.
Right.
You know,
Out 5:20.
Hey, but the week before, it's flashing out there. Hit on.
I used to work for a rock quarry. You might want to let the sand mine know as well, because they can put the word out to multiple people as well.
It's a good idea. Let's talk about
well,
that.
they're daggone trucks just. Take your squirrel
Yeah.
spurs.
And then they go,
Oh, there's gonna be accidents.
but, well, like I said, I think we just need to be proactive and reactive.
Yep.
So let's do that. We'll get, find somebody who can do up some letters for us. I think the state, at least put them on notice that we want to know what kind of signage you're gonna have. If they don't answer us, they don't answer us, and then, we go from there. So,
My point is, no matter what kind of signs they put up, it's gonna be a quick decision, left or right.
Oh, I
absolutely.
know. We
Yeah,
should
around
give
that
them-
roundabout. So,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So,
So
So anyway.
Yeah, but stay on 520.
okay.
All right.
Traffic and.
All right. Okay. All right. Everybody good? All right. That's all. That's all I have for.
I'm sorry, I put in an application on April 22nd, and I thought it was gonna be on the agenda because I came in. on
You
the
are
hours that-
down
Oh,
a
okay,
little
I'm
bit
sorry.
later.
Public safety.
That's
Oh,
okay.
okay.
We saved the best for last, Cindy.
We'll get there as soon as we can.
I thought I was gonna be under the.
That's okay.
No, we'll get you there.
Mhm.
All right. Let's move forward then. We have Bath Development.
Now, we did meet last week, and Brianna came to the Bath Development, meeting. And she has, gained an interest in the on-track program. She did go to a conference or workshop in Charlestown about it. Because if you recall, some years ago, those of us that have been around, when it came down that this was not a possibility for us, Bath Development tried to get it, and at the same time, another organization did too, and the other organization took it. Now, they didn't really do anything with it, and they've handed it back. Bree has an interest, if you'd like to speak to.
I can now, or I put one track down at the clerk report,
Well,
just because I wasn't sure where
Yeah, it's okay.
exactly.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
talk about it now.
Yeah, so I've just, at the last meeting, whenever I attended, down in Charlestown it was a Main Street meeting, but they also spoke about one track. Basically, one track would be the first step to go Main Street. Martinsburg, the city of Martinsburg is Main Street, Charlestown is Main Street. It's a big door opener, especially for tourist towns, which we are. So it makes sense for us to just kind of, go along with the one track. They do help pay for some things. An example would be the Main Street America conference that they usually have. I think they had one previously in Ohio, so they'll pay for someone to go attend that, which usually it's about a $300 fee, sometimes additional fee, but they pay for that. The only thing they don't cover would be travel. But it's still reasonable considering how much some of the other things are that they do pay for. They also offer funding and assistance to an extent of up to $10,000 for certain projects. So it would be working really closely with Streetscape, some of the other town committees and things like that, to try to, plan and see how to, make things in town better. One example would be upkeep of different signage, and then of course working with the BDA as well, with a website and things like that. And whenever I attended the BDA meeting, Cindy Bowden and Bill Clark were very interested and becoming members of On Track. We even spoke about possibly just kind of combining in a way On Track and BDA, depending on how many members agreed to it and things like that, and having separate set of minutes, agendas, things like that. And if council, would approve of it, I wouldn't mind being a staff member, being a part of the committee as well. It's definitely something that I am still learning about. I'm constantly, speaking with Jennifer Brennan down in Charleston. I plan on reaching out to Robbie, who is Martinsburg, and Liz, who is Charlestown, and even possibly meeting with them and, figuring out what I can do, what we can do to move forward with this as well. Whenever I spoke with them briefly at the meeting down in Charlestown, they informed me, that they'd love to work with us, to even gather like a road trip map of sorts for people, tourists, come to, town of Bath, come to the city of Martinsburg, Charlestown, that kind of thing. So they're really, for promoting each other. So that was really nice as well. There's a Zoom meeting on May 24th for On Track where they're going to talk about historic preservation, which is another big thing. They're all about, historic towns and things like that. So I plan on attending that. And then there's an in-person meeting in July, but it's in Parkersburg. So that would be something that I'd go to as a staff member, again, if it's approved, that kind of thing. But I can, get whatever information you guys would like me to get.
I think it would be good if we did have more information on it, exactly what kind of assistance they give, what programs is it? Is it
Exactly.
programs? Is it for
Mhm.
hard projects like streetscape?
Mhm.
Just what exactly that they do.
Yeah.
I think we would be interested in it, and Greg is on that development also, in exploring it more and,
I mean, a lot of it is fundraising as well, but I mean, that's just like anything else. But
right.
yeah, there's also a possibility for the future to try to get like Hotomoto funds, not only from us, but from the county as well. And then, of course, working with the chamber for different things as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Bree. That's very helpful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
We'll talk more.
Yeah.
Okay.
BDA also, as Bree mentioned, is developing a website, and it was one of the better, more meetings that we've had for a long time. The lady was there who was producing the website for us, and that is what we have given money to Bath Development for in the past to develop this ideas on building business and enthusiasm for business and opening business within the town of Bath. One member there kept suggesting, well, we could also add this and such and this outside of Bath. I said, no, absolutely not. You're either in Bath paying our taxes and, in our community, or you're not. And we have to elevate what the advantages are of being in here with us. And there are advantages, we just have to elevate it. So that was very encouraging.
Yes.
So anyway.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Parks and Recs. Okay, nobody here. Planning Commission. Good to see you, Larry.
It's good to be back. Hey, I got back yesterday. Members of the Planning Commission, we've been looking at calendars, and we're going to have to push the meeting from this Thursday to Monday, the 13th at 09. So I apologize about that, but
Back one day and you mess up my
I know I messed up your life, but otherwise everything's going well, and we are, interesting, on track is in the last comprehensive plan. We've talked to BDA, so it's good to see somebody finally, getting their teeth into this one after, trying to push a wet noodle for a while. So I'm excited for Brianna and the team. That's it. Anybody got anything for me? All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. And we were glad to see you back safe. Okay, Rails and Trails.
We planted a tiny forest in the rain. It's doing well. And we are beginning processing or gathering plant materials for planting on the hugels and the rest of it, which will probably be later this year.
Okay.
That's all I have. No other word about when they're gonna start the trail or anything.
Okay. All right, well then we'll skip down to streetscapes.
Streetscape, we're still waiting to hear if, when the bids are opened, the first part of June. And we'll have more then. The Streetscape Committee wants the council's blessing on submitting an intent to apply for the next Streetscape grant for construction of Phase 6. If you read the paper a couple of weeks ago, you see that we were approved for design on Phase 6. We don't really need any official action, but if there's anyone who has any concerns about it, I'll be submitting the application next week.
Okay.
Let me know by email if you've got any concerns. We'll be doing about the same amount of money that we do on every cycle, which is about $475,000. That allows us to have enough time to raise the match that we'll need whenever we actually sign the agreement for funding, which won't be before, at the earliest, the end of the year, maybe next year.
And how much money,
20%,
how much money was that, Rebecca? That,
about 475,000.
So do you want us to do okay,
We don't need anything for intent to apply. You're not under any kind of agreement or anything until we come down to it and they let us know that we're getting the grant.
okay.
And that's sometime probably right before the election.
Okay, well, we'll see how things go. All right, any questions for Rebecca on either one of those rails or trails or?
Rebecca, was the miniature forest, was that first of
Tiny
it?
Forest.
Tiny forest, like I said.
It's an official name.
Tiny forest. Was the tiny forest, was that the first of its kind?
In West Virginia, yes,
Good, perfect.
yes. It's a modified Miyawaki method.
Only you,
Good
Rebecca.
to know, I'll remember that forever.
That'll haunt me tonight.
If you have the opportunity, I'm putting a small entrance to it up on the north end, so you can walk in and you can see all kinds of plants there now. There's, I forget how many different species. There's probably about 50 different species, I think, and about 100, 125 trees and shrubs. Some of them are blooming already.
Wow,
That rain.
good, good, good.
And Scott Swain donated a bunch of mulch hay for me, which is weed free, and I got that all around the trees. So we're going to be conserving moisture.
Good deal. All right, well, we're gonna move on to Train Depot.
All right. The big deal that we have going on right now is we have entertainment, which will begin on May the 16th, Thursday, May the 16th. And it'll also be there the 18th of May. This is Ross Martin's show, Miss Isabella and her traveling companion. He does a show within a depot setting, and the passengers or the audience, it's one of those shows that's very engaging with them, and he talks to the audience. So the depot is a perfect venue for him because, number one, it's a depot and it's a railroad show, but that it's a very intimate show, and he talks to the audience all the time, and there's conversation back and forth and like this. So that's exciting, and that's going to be on the third weekends of every month from May until through September. And so we'll be having that, helping him with it. We have also, if you've noticed, Morgan Arts Council has, and I want to reach out and thank them for their help with sponsoring this show and advertising it and marketing. And we are at the same time working with other groups in collaboration, community groups, about what we could do with the depot's future and some serious talks. But the show is going to be on, and you'll probably see it in the messenger pretty soon. And I'll make sure that we have some brochures in here, or do you have any yet?
I don't think I have any yet.
You don't have any yet? Okay. Maybe I'll tell Ross to stop in, but it's going to be great. So, come down, and I want to see you guys at some point coming down there and seeing the show, because it's been a long time coming. So that's the biggest news we have right there.
That's what we like to hear.
All right.
All right, let's move on. Landmarks Commission. And there's nobody here. Now we're down to clerk and recorder's report. Madam Clerk.
Let's see. She has the budget revisions under finance, which is the same. We do have a building permit. Didn't we have one? Jefferson Street. We have a building.
Yeah, it's in there.
In the budget.
They're right here on Dawson Street, 6 Dawson.
Okay, we do have that. And after this, they have, it looks to me like they properly filled out a notice of building for real property improvement. And from Jordan Cannon and Soren Dodge on 6 Dawson Street, they're erecting a fence. And so we don't generally approve these, but this
Right.
is information. It is public information, so.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay. Madam Clerk.
I didn't have anything else,
Okay.
since already speaking about One Track.
All right, good enough. Then we'll move on to finance.
All right.
Let's pay some bills.
Yes. Let's take care of some budget revisions first here and get them out of my life. All right, let's see. First, we do have a budget revision that does have to go to the state auditor, and this is a request for a revision to an approved budget. It's in the budget year that we were already in. We find that we have a net increase in revenue of $85,920, and we have assigned this amount of money, $85,920, to appropriate accounts in the budget. And because this is one that is interdepartment type of revision, we do need to pass a resolution. And this is resolution 2024-05-01. And this is a revision of the levy estimate of our current year, 2024. I make a motion that we pass the resolution.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pass resolution 2024-05-01. It is a budget revision. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
You have to,
It
Yeah,
has
we got
a
it.
poll vote.
You,
Okay. Scott Murphy,
yes.
Susan Webster, yes. Elizabeth Skinner,
Yes.
Mary Lynn Hickey,
yes.
Rebecca McLeod.
Yeah.
Greg Sheen,
Yes.
and Tom Hall.
Yes.
Passes unanimously.
Okay, good deal.
All right, then we have an in-house budget revision, and what that means is the money that's moving around is moving within the budget. It's going from police uniforms to gas to fuel or something like that. And so we do have budget revisions, small ones, that have to do with the garbage crew and City Hall. And I make a motion that we pass the internal budget revision as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pass the internal budget revision for the street crew and City Hall. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, that motion passes.
And now we do have some bills. Make a motion that we pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $9,389.31.
Have a motion, a second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $9,389.
9,000. I thought you said 90,000.
No,
I
9,000.
heard it.
Didn't I say, if I said 90,000, I'm sorry, it's $9,389.31. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Make a motion that we pay the Berkeley Springs Water Works bills in the amount of $16,961.36.
Second.
Have a motion, a second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs water bills in the amount of $16,961.36. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Make a motion that we pay the North Berkeley Rail Trail bills in the amount of $6,500.
Second.
A motion and a second on the floor to pay the North Berkeley Rails to Trails bills in the amount of $6,500. $6,500. Did I get that right? 6,500.
That's proper, excellent enunciation.
Hey, all right.
Do you or don't you?
Yeah, do we have any discussion?
No.
There's no discussion on that?
None.
Okay.
Clear.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I make a motion that we pay the Greenway Cemetery bills in the amount of $7,200.
Second.
All right, we have a motion second on the floor to pay the Greenway Cemetery bills in the amount of $7,200. Woo! Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next bill on the agenda is the 522 extension grant payment. This is the bill that we held last week until we got some confirmation as far as the payment and some assurances that it would move smoothly through and we weren't committing ourselves to something more than we could handle. So I do make a motion that we pay, and this will be paid by grant. That I make a motion that we pay $174,659.20.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to pay the 522 extension grant payment in the amount of $174,659.20.
Does that require a motion to forward this bill on to the Morgan County? As if so, I would make that motion that we forward this $174,659.20 invoice to Morgan County for their disposition to Region 9.
How about we get through
Yeah, we
this
gotta get this one
motion
done,
and then you do
and then you
that?
can do
Okay,
that.
great.
Okay.
Okay, any more discussion? If there isn't, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Now you can do.
Again, yes.
Do we have a second
Yes.
on Tom's motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second on the floor to forward this $174,659.20 to the county for payment through the grant. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
I make a motion that we pay the Berkeley Springs Water Works R&R bills, that's repair and replacement bills, in the amount of $4,813.
Second.
I have a motion, a second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs Water Works bill R&R bills in the amount of $4,813. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Okay, I think that's enough money that we spent.
That's enough.
So, all right. Anything else for finance, or are we good?
No, that's enough.
Okay, let's go on to tree board then.
I have nothing to report.
All right, let's go down to Grant.
Thank you, Scott.
Yes, Mary.
Okay, so, right now we have a couple of grant applications in progress. The first is the SHPO Remembrance Grant, and that covers improvements at the town-owned cemeteries, including the Old English Cemetery that I mentioned earlier for the speaker who's not here from DAR. They maintain that one, and the Foxglove Club maintains the German Cemetery. And this grant will give them funds for improvements. I've gotten everything from Foxglove. I've now connected with the DAR ladies to get the information and data points I need for their side of it, and we'll be submitting that grant by the due date. They actually amended it. It's now May 17th. So that's the first one. And then right behind that, due on June 6th, is the COPS grant. That is to fund another law enforcement position here in town. It does require a 25% cash match on the part of the town. And the Public Safety Committee, which is meeting tomorrow, will be discussing this grant as an agenda item to sort out the information I need to aggregate with some assistance from the chief and Sandy. So those are the two on board. Our next meeting is next Monday, the 13th. And we do have, in addition to progress reports on grants submitted and these couple that we're working on now, Rebecca mentioned the West Virginia DOH TA grant for phase 6. It doesn't require any approval either at the grants committee level or by town council until they're approved for funding, at which point it's a different conversation. But we will discuss that, and we will also discuss the other proposed grant that Kate Lehman has brought to us for level 1 arboretum on 4.5 acres over in Greenway Cemetery. So both of those are on deck, and we've got a full plate. So all of that is going on. That's it.
Good deal. Good deal. Okay, public safety, as Mary just said, our next meeting is going to be the 8th, which is tomorrow at 4 here at Town Hall. We also have applications for used town property, so I'll let the town recorder bring them forward.
We did this one. Oh, okay, now we're going to vote on Mr. Colin Ash's request, and we did get to talk about that earlier. This would be for 5 spaces on, did we want to do on Washington Street? On Washington Street, for his Pride in the Park picnic to be June the 22nd. I make a motion that we approve this facilities use.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor to approve, what is it, the Pride in the Park, Saturday, June 22nd of 2024. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries. We're good, Scott. You're ready to rock and roll.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one, is that?
Yes.
Is that this one?
Yes.
Okay, bringing in the May, we have Cindy Ryfin here with us this evening. And this is for a festival on May the 18th and 19th, 2024. It'll be in the Berkeley Springs State Park. State Park, and what you're asking of us is to close the meters. Now, we need a little clarification, is what meters do you need? All the way?
Okay, should I stand up,
It
please?
does.
Okay. Yeah. It's similar to Pride in the Park. We're gonna have, 4 food trucks and we're also gonna have Bob's Beef and D-Shaw, were mentioned earlier. We have 2 other, food trucks and, last year we parked 2 of them on Fairfax Street and then there were 2 on Washington Street. And it sounds like you'd prefer to have them all on Washington Street, but we want to close the meters where the food trucks are so that they will, be able to come in and park there. And also one of the food vendors wanted to know if they could leave their truck overnight because apparently, they use a lot of gas driving back and forth to Martinsburg. So, or wherever they're coming from. So those are my 2 questions. Can we get the spots reserved so the food trucks can come in and nobody will park there? And also the one vendor wanted to leave, know if he could leave his truck overnight.
Because it's a 2-day festival, so he
It's a
wants to
2-day
stay
festival.
over on Saturday night
Correct.
prior to the
Yeah.
second day of the festival. Okay.
And I have, if anybody's interested, bring your grandchildren. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have food and music and people will be getting, there'll be parades and it should be a lot of fun. So, and this is actually our 4th year. The first year we were at the ice house in the little sculpture garden in back of the ice house. Pass it around. It's been a big success and I think it brought people to town. And I think the Tourism Bureau gave us some funding this year, so
Yes.
we're excited about it. It's growing. So,
Chief, do you have any issues with the parking requests that we received?
okay. So, would someone come out and then just mark those spots or should?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Okay. And I spoke to,
Yeah.
Melissa McCumbee this morning in the health department. And so I've got that end covered because the food vendors have to have
Right.
health permits, so.
Right. And Cindy, if you could just make sure that all of your vendors, your food vendors know that they do need to be properly licensed. Our law enforcement will be around and checking those credentials. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And well, two of them are local, B-Shaw and Bob's Beef. And,
Great.
One of them is new this year and he might not be able to come because it's a 3-week waiting period and he just applied. He's like, got 2 weeks. So I had told him that he needed to apply and he may or may not be able to come because he was late, but
Okay.
we are aware of that.
okay.
So thanks. for
So
mentioning
are
that.
you good with the, I think the adjustment we'd like to make is to put all the food trucks
Yeah,
on,
that's fine.
on Washington Street? Okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
With that,
We need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the request for blocked off meters and related requests for the Ferry Festival happening this weekend. This week, no, 2 weekends.
This weekend is the plant fair.
Plant Fair, it's next weekend.
It's a 3rd weekend in May.
Right.
Second.
Okay, have a motion, a second on the floor to approve the meters locked off on Washington Street for the, what is it, the Berry Fest. Any discussion?
None.
See, you're laughing. It's
It's
fun. It
easy
makes people
peasy.
happy.
Well, you
It's
seem
silly, but
laughing.
it makes people
Okay.
happy.
That's okay.
I will ask
It's
the
a
question. All
family
those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And that motion carries.
Bree has a question.
I just have a question.
Okay.
For these, is it something that we're blocking off the meters, or is it something that the individuals are blocking off the meters? I'm only asking to see if it's something that the garbage crew needs to block off, or if the police department's blocking off.
The police department.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
We're getting real-time answers from the back of the room here.
So,
Yes.
okay.
Police department. All right, Cindy, you're good to go.
Okay.
And I'm not telling you to leave. I'm just telling you.
This is so interesting. I didn't come more often. I had no idea you all were.
I try to
so
make it
hard on all
interesting.
these different varieties.
I screw it up all the time.
Yes, you do. No, I'm kidding.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right.
All right, then we have 2 with Dave O'Connell sitting here. Let's see, Dave, what's he want? Let's talk about first your application for the Friends of volleyball.
Right.
That's what you're calling it. And this is at the, Dave Henry Park on Visor
David
Street.
Henry Memorial Park, Advisor Street.
Yeah, he was a young man in high school when I was many, many years ago, and he died of cancer, and that park was dedicated to him. You know, that whole area was the DOH before it was that park, and the state left and gave it
Oh,
to
yeah.
Parks and Rec. The big old DOH trucks were back there, and the piles of salt, yeah. So that's what I'm good for, that kind of stuff. You know, I know stuff that's business. But,
It's been a state of recovery, so has
It's been
been the
in a state of
volleyball.
recovery ever since. But what Dave has done is worked on, improved, and rehabilitated the volleyball courts, and he wants to have a block party in that area. Really, he's not asking us anything, really, for any property. This is more of a notification that he's having it. He expects if he gets enough people, he'll be.
It technically is Parks and Rec's property, I guess. Yes.
It is Parks and Rec, so.
Do we need a motion or no?
I'm thinking what you told me earlier was you really have no skin in the game, so.
No, because we're
Okay.
not asking anything of us, but it's wonderful, and I hope we're all there for you.
Okay.
All right,
Perfect.
thank you. The second thing, we do have skin in the game.
Was there a date for that, Susan?
Oh, May the 19th,
May 9th,
May the
May
19th,
19th.
3 PM to
Yes.
sunset. So when I go to
The
bed.
ferry can come up and take all
Really?
Well, I'm really this.
Wish I could.
Yes.
Really tired.
Make sure they can smack it down.
The second thing that Dave put in, along with Pat Narango from St. Vincent's, is for the St. Vincent de Paul Knights of Columbus, is the use of some parking meters on 67 Liberty Street for a flea market that they're setting up on May the 11th.
It's parking spaces. There are no meters.
There are no meters, that's right. And this would just be on the north side of Liberty Street there, not going across the entrance from Liberty Street to the CNB parking lot, and access
It
would
would
be
not
blocked
block,
off.
it would not block the Liberty Street, and it would not be using the left-hand side or the CNB side of Liberty
You
Street.
know, as you look at it, it would just be right along the church.
Yeah, right.
And
Dead
it wants
straight
to
ahead.
Yeah.
Go out into where.
That
normally
allows
cars
the
would-
tents to be set up and the public to be using the sidewalk without having to,
Yeah.
engage with cars.
Okay. There's no fee for what he's doing, so I make a motion that we allow these parking spaces to be used by the St. Vincent de Paul Knights of Columbus for their flea market on May the 11th.
Second,
Okay, motion and second on the floor to approve the application to use Liberty Street North parking spaces to do a flea market May 11th, which is this Saturday, from 9 to 3. Any
Comment?
any comments or
Anybody
anything?
upset about it?
Yeah, if not, I'll call the question.
Aye.
All those for
Aye.
aye.
and those opposed. Okay, it passes.
Thank you, Dave.
So,
Is that it?
That's it.
all right.
I do have,
The
go ahead.
food truck, can the food truck stay overnight? I know you voted on the spaces, but did that include the food truck staying overnight?
Just
In the
one of
vote.
them?
Could it be moved to train people lot, or what do you think, chief?
I mean, there's always, those trucks are wider than normal space. There's always a risk of it getting sideswiped.
You should talk to them and let them know that the depot is an option. And
Oh,
that would be
okay.
They move
okay.
the parking lot, you know, for
Oh,
night.
that's good. Thank you very much. I'll tell them that. So they can move to the depot parking lot
Just for
overnight.
safety,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay,
It's got a
thank you.
fence around it. People are around across the street.
I have one more thing. Under public safety, I just want to give a quick update on, we have been collaborating with the chamber on the Apple Butter Festival because this year the town is going to collect the municipal fee separate. It won't be rolled into the fee that the chamber collects. And this year they are using an outside vendor who will handle all of the communications with vendors and the forms and paperwork, everything. Thanks to Sandy back there who created all the forms that we needed for the town to collect our fee that does include their vendor's license. And then there is the total fee is $35. It also more fully recognizes the town's resource outlay for public safety, for public works, for all the things when that festival's going on. So the initial letter went out to all the vendors that are currently in the past vendors. They have to get formally approved, and when they hear back from the chamber, the QR code, they're going to go two ways. They're going to go pay the chamber what they owe them, and then they're going to take the QR code and pay the town. So we should start to see, probably by the end of this, not this week, but next week, $35 fees coming in. So just wanted to just make sure the council was updated on that, and that we did successfully kind of sort out all the issues with the chamber to come to a mutually agreeable conclusion on just handling the administravia with the town doing best practice in collecting our own fees directly.
I did forget something with the tree board. The tree on Wilkes Street, Lance Straight has been in touch with Mike Kiefer to get an estimate for the cost of removing the dead branch as well as the entire tree. Craig Dean strongly recommends that no parking signs be put under the dead branch. It's a risk. The town is aware that it's a risk, and so we can't say we didn't know. If that big branch should fall on a car or a person,
Yeah.
would be bad.
Is this right across the street?
Oh,
Just up the
in front of
street,
Teresa D'Souza's house.
Oh,
And we have been in touch with Mike, but we don't have estimates
okay,
yet.
okay. Soon?
Tonight? Yesterday?
Okay.
Who has the no parking signs? Public Works?
Yeah, they got no parking signs. We'll have to let Rodney know to put them up around that tree.
Soon.
Yeah.
So
It's a
who owns the
liability
tree?
waiting to happen.
I'm sorry, what?
Who owns the tree?
We do.
The town, use the town tree.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Chief, you have anything else for public safety? Okay. Let's move on to cemetery then.
Just, as you know, the grass is being grown, the grass is growing, the grass is being mowed. So that's in process, and so the invoices, we are being invoiced every other week, just to make it a little easier on the contractor. And the mausoleum work is begun again, so I will keep you informed of that when it is complete. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Public Works?
Public Works, we have the curbs marked and ready for painting. We were holding off until the streets were swept, which Washington Street was swept last week, and it's a lot cleaner. The guys are busy doing a lot of weed whacking. The town's looking really good. I'm really pleased with the work they're doing. They've just finished the depot this morning, and it looks great. Which is good because we have a tour coming tomorrow. They're trying to figure out the Baltimore Alley situation with that tree. The man who took the tree down or kind of stacked the logs in the way, so they may need to be moved. And I think that is I wanted to commend the guys on doing weekly checks of all the equipment for safety. So that's really important. And I think they're doing a great job.
I can always reach out to the gentleman. I have his contact information who cut the tree down.
if
Yeah, I
need be.
think it might be a little too close to the fence for them to be able to work, so he's got some pretty big logs stacked there to move it back. And, we would like to let the owner of the fence know that we're working on it, and we probably need to mark where the property line is.
Yeah, I can do that.
I'll remind Rodney, and I said something to you, but I would like the depot power wash before the 16th, before the show starts.
Thought he got to the front of it, but
Did
maybe
he?
not the
Okay.
back of it, which isn't too dirty yet.
Okay, all right, good.
All right, anything else?
If that's all.
All right, well, let's move on to ordinance.
Ordinance, this is the part of the evening that everyone so looks forward to. We have 2 new ordinance to bring forward, and you'll want to be here in 2 weeks. We'll have a total of 4 ordinances to bring forward. So make sure you mark your calendar. Our first ordinance, Town of Bath Ordinance 2024-0401, which Mary had, Councilwoman Hickey had referred to earlier, amending in part Town of Bath Municipal Code, Chapter 18, Businesses and Business Regulations, Section 1858, Festival License, Multi-Day festivals. Any organization or individual staging a multi-day event selling food and or merchandise within the Town of Bath corporate limits shall require council approval and shall be assessed a per event festival municipal fee of $35 for each participating vendor across any and all sales categories, including but not limited to general merchandise, handcrafted items, food, non-alcoholic beverages within the agreed upon boundaries of the event. Such fee includes per event festival vendor license and Town of Bath municipal fee payable by each participating vendor to the Town of Bath within 7 business days of the scheduled start of the event, or depending on the individual situation, like we have with Apple Butter, we'll be collecting those payments electronically. Those vendors operating outside of the event boundaries but within town corporate limits shall be assessed a per event festival municipal fee of $35 for any and all sales categories, included but not limited to general merchandise, handcrafted items, etc. This license is attainable from Town Hall prior to the event. Private sellers of secondhand, used, and yard sale merchandise are excluded from this fee. So if you're conducting a yard sale, the license is not required. Violators of this section will be subject to a penalty of $100 fine or immediate expulsion. Those merchants holding a valid yearly business license from the town and conducting routine business at their permanent business locations during any such event shall be exempt from any additional licensing or fees payable to the town, whether inside or outside of the event boundaries. Sellers of alcoholic beverages must obtain a license certificate directly from the ABCA board. The license certificate must be prominently displayed where it can be readily seen by authorities and customers. Reference ordinance of 12/15/1997. That completes the first reading of 2024-04-01.
Okay, do I have a motion and a second?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the first reading of Town of Bath Ordinance 2024-04-01, amending in part Town of Bath Municipal Code, Chapter 18, Business License and Business Regulations, Section 1858, Festival License. Okay, do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it is passed for the first reading.
Thank you.
I just want to clarify, it doesn't take effect till July 1, so multi-events multi-day events happening prior to that are getting a hall pass.
Correct. Thank you, Mary. Second ordinance, and this ordinance is available for review at Town Hall at any time. And I'm just going to highlight the key points. Town of Bath Ordinance 2024-038, adding to Chapter 18, Business and Business Regulations, Article 5, Bed and Breakfast Facilities, Airbnb, and other short-term rental facilities. Purpose. The purpose of the regulations set forth in this ordinance is to provide a procedure to allow the rental of private residence to visitors on a short-term basis while ensuring that such rental use does not create adverse impacts to residential neighborhoods due to excessive traffic, noise, and density, Additionally, this section is intended to ensure that the number of occupants within such rental units does not exceed the design capacity of the structure to cause health and safety concerns, and that minimum health and safety standards are maintained in such units to protect visitors from unsafe or unsanitary conditions. Moving to page 3, license application and review. To obtain a license for a bed and breakfast facility or a short-term rental facility, the person must submit an application form provided for that purpose to the town. Those forms are available here. Again, this will be effective July 1st of 2024. Moving to page 4, fees. An annual license fee of $200 will be charged at the time of issuing the license and at the time of renewal. The town council shall set the fees for the license and renewal. Operation of a bed and breakfast facility or short-term rental facility. The licensee shall comply with the noise requirements set forth in Chapter 50 of this code. The licensee shall comply with all rules and standards necessary for safeguarding of life and property as set forth in the West Virginia State Building Code, WVSBC. This includes, but is not limited to, operating smoke detectors, at least one operable egress window per bedroom, an evacuation plan posted conspicuously in each sleeping area, repair of any exposed wiring, water heater inspection, required safety measures for pools if applicable, and exterior stairwells if applicable. Functions such as meetings, receptions, weddings, and other social events provided for compensation or held by guests are not permitted as part of the bed and breakfast facility or short-term rental facility unless an events permit has been issued by the town. The designated operator shall be available at all times the property is being rented. Contact information will be furnished to the owners of real property within 200 feet of the bed and breakfast facility or short-term rental facility by the town. Also, a sign must be posted conspicuously in the common area of each unit and will contain the following information: contact information of the owner or designated operator, license number of the facility, occupancy limits, and requirements set forth. The licensee shall be included, the license number shall be included on the business website and primary booking engine for the bed and breakfast facility or short-term rental facility. Additional requirements and restrictions for bed and breakfast facilities or short-term rental facilities. Parking. Operator must provide parking information for guests, taking into consideration the availability of both paid and unpaid parking, as well as weekend parking, reserved on-site parking, if applicable, and permitted use of private and public lots. Signs. The size of the sign shall not exceed 6 square feet in area. The maximum height shall be 3 feet. The front yard setback shall be 3 feet from the property line. Lighting. All lighting must be directed towards the establishment. Occupancy. The maximum number of adults allowed to reside in any bed and breakfast facility or short-term rental facility is 2 adults per bedroom plus 2 additional adults per rental unit. Revocation, suspension, or denial of the license. The designated town code enforcement officer or chief of the police department may immediately revoke or suspend the license or deny either the issuance or renewal thereof if it is found that the licensee, designated operator, or guest has violated or failed to meet any of the provisions of this article or conditions of the license. The licensee, designated operator, or guest has violated any federal, state, or city law or regulation pertaining to the use of the property as a bed and breakfast facility or short-term rental facility. The chief of police department or the chief of the fire department has determined that the bed and breakfast facility or short-term rental facility will pose a serious threat to public health, safety, or welfare, or the applicant has made a false statement of material fact on the application for a bed and breakfast facility license or short-term facility license. Notice to applicant, licensee appeals. Upon denial, suspension, or revocation, the code enforcement officer or chief of the police department shall notify the applicant or licensee in writing, either in person or by certified mail, to the address listed on the application of the action taken and the reason therefor. A person may appeal a decision to deny, revoke, or suspend a license to the town council. Appeal shall be submitted to the city in writing within 30 days following the date the applicant or licensee receives the decision. A hearing on the denial, suspension, or revocation will be scheduled for the next regular meeting of the town council that is more than 6 days away. The council will render a decision on the appeal within 10 days of the hearing. A licensee shall not operate a bed and breakfast facility or short-term rental facility during the appeals process. Any violation of provisions here shall be misdemeanor, and the penalty for violating this ordinance shall be a fine not to exceed $250, and each day a violation exists shall constitute a separate offense and fine of $25. And that completes the first reading of Town of Bath Ordinance 2024-03-8.
Okay, do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second
I have
on the
a
floor. Yeah.
So, it says that if somebody wants, a wedding or other social event at the bed and breakfast, they have to comply with the,
Right, they have to make a request for that and have an event, get approved, get the event approved. They can't just decide they want to have a bachelorette party, or any other kind of event.
so they're not subject to the fees though, because it's not typically a multi-day, or if it is, are they subject to the multi-day event fee or anything? You're just asking for an application for an
So we
event.
know it's right.
A one-day event.
Right, it's safe for an event to be held at that, but if there's not many buildings in town that could handle a large wedding or
Right.
some of these parties and that type of thing, so
But like a porch party or something like that,
that exceeds the
they
occupancy.
do get a little loud.
Yeah.
It's unfair practice.
Yes.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All right, we have, Town of Bath Ordinance 2024-3-08. I will, and if there's no more discussion, I will call the question. All those for?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries for the first reading of the Town of Bath Ordinance 2024-03-08.
I'd like to thank my colleagues in the ordinance, Susan Webster and Mary Hickey, for their help and advice and input on that. Coming forward at the next meeting, water tariff with capacity improvement fees, which is very critical to where we are as far as development is concerned, and making sure we're managing growth. And we do have impact fees on new construction, residential, commercial, industrial only. And then we are also moving forward with a 1% municipal sales tax ordinance for consideration.
Okay, so, all right, moving along, let's go to Waterworks.
As we are aware, the past couple of weeks have been pretty tumultuous down at the water department, with the pumps that have failed and the process that's transpiring at this time to put us whole again, because we're not whole yet. We do have our raw water pumps repaired. We are coordinating with the installers and the electricians and the plumbers that will be reinstalling some of the piping that is in the raw water tank so that we can complete the project all at one time. The high service pump, the pump that pushes the water from the plant to the system, we are still waiting for information on that due to the fact that we're totally not sure that the motor itself was destroyed. We do know that the shaft was broke, and a new shaft will have to be made. The costs are going to probably be somewhere in the vicinity of $60,000+ to have that pump taken care of. But again, I thank the guys at the water department for the good job that they've done, keeping our water going, being on staff, keeping our plant up and running, and keeping our tanks level and not endangering our water supply here at the community. There is a project that will be starting probably in the next couple of weeks between the water department and the state park. We are going to be moving into the state park with some pressure washers. We're going to be draining the run and pushing the gravel and the dirt and stuff that's in the bottom of that run into piles. We'll be digging it out by hand and loading it in wheelbarrows and hauling it away. We are waiting for DEP permits because we are disturbing the water, disturbing the silt that's in that run. US Silica has already offered 4 dump truck loads of white silica sand to replace back in the run so that it will be very, very nice. But additionally, and I have mixed emotions about this, but additionally, at this time, the state park is entertaining the idea of putting LED lights in the run so that at night the run will be lit. Don't know just exactly, like I said, how I feel about that yet, but the scenario is that that could be part of the plan for the park. That project could be started anytime within the next 3 weeks. The state has offered their people to help with the labor aspect of that project, and we will be waiting to hear how this all transpires. Rebecca, our tour's starting tomorrow.
Yes. So on the last page of your book is the schedule for the United States Agency for International Development. They're having a workshop this week at Cacapen State Park, and they reached out to us and asked us if they could tour the water treatment plant. And then we mentioned our green infrastructure, and they were very excited about that. So we're going to have about 60 or 70 people from all over the world coming into the town tomorrow afternoon. We're going to start off, take the whole group down to the depot to see the green infrastructure project down there. Matt Pennington is going to be with us to talk a little bit about that. We'll look at the tiny forest, West Virginia's first tiny forest. And then we will be bringing them up and dropping them off on Fairfax Street, dividing them up into 3 groups. And we will be rotating about 20 into the water treatment plant. We'll have 20 in the park to talk about the springs and the intake and where we bring the water in to go to the park or to the plant. A little bit about the geology and history. And then the last group will be cycling around on Congress Street and Washington Street to look at our green infrastructure there. Kate Lehman is going to be helping us on Congress Street. Matt Pennington will be out on Washington Street. I'll be in the park with Tom. So I would encourage the council and any members of the public that want to meet with some of these visitors who are studying water infrastructure. It's a wide range of people, some who probably don't have water treatment plants in where they're coming from, and some who are policymakers at the national level will be among them.
Cool.
It's going to be a
Yes.
nice day.
It should be an exciting day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um,
It starts at, they'll be coming in, it's on the last page of your notebook. We should be in town at 2:30. And the tours will take a little, around an hour or so. We're gonna turn them loose in town afterwards. Some of the shopkeepers have agreed to stay open or open their facility. So I think maybe the museum's gonna be open.
That'd be very nice.
We'll have the depot open, then we won't have a lot of time, but they can peek in and look. So I hope to see y'all down there. And you can learn a little bit about green infrastructure in town too.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca. On a other note, today our Ford Escape quit running, and they got it taken over to Mike's, and they analyzed what the issue was. Turned out to be very minor, but they've got the Escape back running full time again. On a happier note, our 522 project. I don't know how many of you happen to have walked up Wilk Street, and you did notice the water running down Wilk Street. Well, Congressman Sheen's family have a new spring in
Not
their
yet.
basement.
Not our congressman.
And they're
yet.
volunteering it as their second source of water.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna ask, was that second source of water? It ought to be perfect, man.
You have a second source of water under my home now.
Believe me, I found that out.
It's for sale for $10 million. I'm a congressman, so.
Oh, my Lord.
Did it just pop up
Yes.
and it wasn't there?
Nope. And I have this crystal clear, beautiful water.
There you go.
Right.
You've already got
I'm
it.
super
It's
excited
nailed.
about it.
So you can have a spa in your basement now,
Right.
right?
Holy,
Right.
you should have it tested.
Throw it up.
See what
You
it
can
is.
sell water out front.
So, Mr. Mayor, thank you, but that'll be the end of the water report.
Well,
Okay, we
What
got
about this
one.
resolution?
Yeah, we got a
Right.
resolution to do.
The
We have to-
I
resolution.
thought that was already taken care of.
Well,
It's
we
gotta
just
be a
paid the
resolution.
bill, but there's a resolution
Yeah, we gotta
too.
do
You
a
wanna
resolution.
read
To,
it, Tom?
okay, all right, then I'll make the resolution again.
Well, what we did was we just.
All we did
voted
was send it
pay
over
the
to
bill,
county.
but
We
have
need to approve
also-
a resolution.
Okay, all right. Well, what we are talking about is the resolution of the Town of Bath, the Berkeley Springs Water Works Committee approving the invoice relating to the construction and other services for the sewer extension project and authorizing payment thereof to Thrasher Engineering. The amount of $174,659.20. I'm bringing forward as a motion to forward this on to, must be approved first by the council, and then it will be forwarded on to the county court, or county commission, excuse me.
Looking for a second over there?
Yeah, we need a second.
Second.
Okay,
All right.
okay, he did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Um,
we have a motion and a second on the resolution number 1 of the Town of Bath, the Berkeley Springs Water Works Water Committee approving invoices relating to construction and other services for the sewer extension project and authorization payment thereof. And do we have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Okay, we have anything else for water, or we're good?
That's it.
Okay, anybody that would like to speak to us out there, you've got 3 minutes. If not, I would ask, council
Oh,
for
you got
comment.
somebody.
Brandon.
Okay,
Oh, geez.
As much as you guys know, I do like a lot of volunteer stuff, picking up trash and different things. I also recently started little fundraisers here and there where I sell stuff out of Mount Laurel. The money and proceeds from that go to give gift cards to people, that I think, and my daughter helps them pick out people randomly to get these gift cards. There, with Halloween coming up in a few, 6 months or whatever, I am putting together another fundraiser where all the stuff that's in Mount Laurel now, the proceeds from that, I'm taking the dollar value, going to the local banks and coming up with dollar gold coins. That being said, I want to see if the town can come up with maybe some maps where I could bury little capsules for this gold. And the reason that's going to be buried is I'm going to do a Facebook post, like a page, and it'll be titled Captain Steelbeard's Treasure Trove, where people have a chance to get their name drawn. The first person, like say if I randomly pull a name, I'm gonna ask some pirate trivia questions. Until the first person gets it right, then, so the first person gets it right, we'll get a treasure map to where this treasure is. It makes it fun, like a fun event for people in town, but also puts a little extra money in people's pockets. So far, I raised $60 through Mountain Laurel already, and I've only put stickers out there like maybe not even a month ago. So I want to know if the town could maybe come up with a map where I could bury little capsules. They're about 7 inches, 6 or 7 inches deep, and probably 6 inches in diameter, where I will fill up the holes after the event.
Will people be digging a lot of holes to find
No, they will
them?
not be digging anything. That's what the capsules are for. All they gotta do is find the X, unscrew it, reach in, pull the gold out, and put the lid back.
Brandon, I'm really intrigued by the idea. I would really love to see a more formal proposal in
Okay.
writing, like, and where you would want to put the capsules and things.
All right.
As a sort of a first introduction. I
Yes.
appreciate you coming to us. and sharing the concept that you have in mind. I do think our due diligence requires us to have like
And I can get that put together. I
written
just wanted to
proposal,
bring
all
it
the
forward.
things.
and-
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, anybody else? If not, I'd ask for a common consent to adjourn.
So moved.
Longest meeting ever.
I should have
stayed